Welcome to another installment of the Vols for Life podcast. I'm Bob. This is Tim. Today we're going to go over the portal and did we win or lose the portal this year?
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the transfer portal is still fairly new, and it's just in its infancy, and it's almost like free agency for college now. We've had some winners. You know, we signed Hooker and Milton and others out of it. That's really going to either had a spot on the team or we're going, you know, it's going to be important to us. And we've probably got somebody in this year, at least one or two, that's going to do the same for us. But you know, you flip that coin over, and you've got the people to leave on you too.
You do. The winning and losing in the portal each year is going to be pretty important. Some teams have lost quite a bit, and some have gained a lot. We hope every year that we're on the better end of that. Time will tell. A lot of times, we're just projecting right now, based off of practice, rumors we're hearing, and such. But
yeah, and a lot of these kids are leaving early as freshmen, and you know, yeah, they're not going to produce for you next year, but they may be good 2 or 3 years down the road.
Yeah.
So you can't really tell on them sometimes.
Exactly.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. We'll start off with the offense and just go down at each position and try to say, you know, who we lost, who we gained, and did we come out better?
Yeah.
And it might not be clear cut. It might be.
Well, it won't be till the games actually get played this year, Bob. Yeah. But we have got idea coming out of spring and some early returns on a lot of these players if they're going to be productive.
Well, some of them we might win this year. We might lose in the long term, or vice versa.
No, yeah.
So let's just start off with wide receivers. We lost Jimmy Holiday, Jimmy Callaway, and Walker Merle. 3 pretty good players, in my opinion. I probably hated losing Walker Merle more than any of them because he was younger and he was getting in some games.
And I'll say this on Holiday and Callaway. You know, they've caught some flack at UT for a couple of things. You know, a couple big drops for Callaway. But these guys were talented guys, and I think if they go to the right teams, they'll be productive players for their next team. They won't be an All-American, but they'll be a productive player.
Yeah, I agree. They're good ball players. None of them I thought were just not capable.
Yeah.
I think if they stuck around till their junior, senior years, those guys would have played and been productive players for us. So I hated losing them. But we did add Dante Thornton from Oregon. 6'4" guy with plenty of speed.
Yeah.
So maybe not Jalen Hyatt speed, but close. But 6'4".
Yeah, big, huge body, big frame. A lot of people wondered why he didn't do more at Oregon than he did, but they had a loaded wide receiver room out there also.
Yeah. And
he was the younger guy.
Yeah.
Now, returns so far been extremely positive on him as far as the eyeball test and whatnot, but you know, we're losing 3 guys who was not going to replay for us probably this year.
Yeah.
Replacing them with a probable starter.
Right.
I call that a win.
Yeah. Early reports is that he definitely looks it, and he's going to be part of like a 4-man rotation that's going to be hard to figure out at this point. But if you can get a starter, and I'm not sure the other 3 would have been a starter.
I don't believe they would have.
So I'm kind of thinking leaning slightly toward that's a plus.
Yeah. Well, I think early returns, that's a W. Longer term, because if he's good as everybody thinks he is, he may be a one and done.
Could be. Yeah.
Which, if it is, I'll take that all day long.
Yeah. If he was good enough to be a one and done, we're good. Yeah. The next position is tight end. We lost Miles Campbell. He was a younger guy who just seemed like some issues getting in. I mean, he wasn't physical enough.
Yeah. Talent-wise and everything, they thought like he had some.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, the light just wouldn't come on as far as on practice or whatnot.
Yeah.
So he probably wasn't going to get onto the field unless it was an emergency situation.
Yeah. He would have had to really made some improvement from one year to the next.
Yeah.
We added McAllen Castles from UC Davis. This guy's, I think it's going to be really good. He had some people having as a projected 3rd-round draft pick this coming season.
And I can see that off of his film.
Yeah, his film looked impressive. Yeah. I really like him myself. We'll see.
I'd have to count that as a W. A solid W, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I agree.
That's a solid W.
Yeah. Campbell was younger, but if you can, like say, if you can get a guy who's a starter, upper level starter, I think that's a plus.
Yeah,
so
you're filling gaps for a 1 year. Transfer portal sometimes is just a 1 year Band-Aid.
Right.
And these are two guys, first two guys we talked about are one, and Thornton might be a 2 year, but they definitely fix holes on our team.
I agree. We did lose Justin Williams Thomas in the running back room. Most of you probably not familiar with that name. It's because he didn't really have spent very long here and didn't really do much, even though he was pretty highly rated coming out. He really struggled with pass protection, and I think he felt like Dylan Sampson had really passed him, and he was a freshman as well. So I think I kind of sent him packing up.
Yeah, well, he did. He saw the handwriting on the wall. He was here last year for spring, all summer. Dylan Sampson come in the fall, and immediately went past him.
Yeah, and
I think he saw that maybe somewhere else would be a better fit for him. I think he's a good, fine young man from everything I hear, and I wish him the best of luck where he goes. But him and Laneith Whitehead also left. And quite honestly, they were both not going to be in the rotation.
Yeah.
So we didn't pick anybody up in the running back spot, but with our freshmen we got coming in, I'd say those are, I can't say we won the transfer portal on that one since we didn't bring anybody in, but I don't feel we lost it either. Yeah. That's a wash.
Yeah, our team's not worse for them leaving.
Yeah, opened up scholarships.
Yeah. At our offensive line, we lost R.J. Purry and William Parker. Two younger guys, but two guys who hadn't really made a lot of noise at all. Purry was a very...
well, he was a project coming in.
Yeah, he was. He really was.
Long, lean, needed that size. Mm-hmm. Good-looking kid, though. William Parker come in as a reputation as a bruiser. Thought he was going to probably get into rotation, but offensive line is such a developmental position.
It is.
You're looking 2 or 3 years at least a lot of times before they ever really get on the field. And I think both guys saw that they was on a crowded offensive line room. Once again, they thought they could find better opportunities elsewhere.
Play at a lower level.
And I hope they wish them the best. But we did bring in somebody, 2 people actually, very important on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Bob, if you want to talk about John Campbell first.
John Campbell, transferred from Miami, played some right and left tackle for them. He really wants to play left here, so they're going to have him there. I think that's where he's going to start, and I think that's where he's going to play. He played at left tackle all spring.
Yeah, I think he's got that job.
I think so. From their reports I think they're happy with him, I think.
Yeah.
And then Andre Carey from Texas, kind of a utility guy.
He played some tackle and guard at Texas, I believe.
Yeah. He's very athletic, they say, very mobile. His strength is maybe not where they want him to be. But I think he's a guy who's probably going to play. Some games, depending on what we're doing, maybe some pulling.
Possibly.
And we do that a lot. When we do that, he may be a guy that's in the lineup.
Well, he's got a couple or 3 years left on him.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to be really down the road before we see much out of him. Honestly, I think they were pretty disappointed with him when they first come in because they attempted to go back into the portal for another offensive lineman, and I think it was at his spot, that left guard spot.
Yeah, I think so too.
But Campbell, I think they may not be thrilled. He's not a first round offensive tackle probably like we just lost, but he's probably locked down a starting job. Yeah. So I would have to count that as another win.
Definitely
on the offensive line because you did get a starter, looks like, and you lost 2 guys that honestly
may never play. May never play. It was going to be senior year probably for either one of them.
Yeah.
The next position's Tavon Jackson, that quarterback. He left. We'd like to kept him, but
talented kid, I believe. Yeah. Indiana's going to be very happy they have him.
I think so. I think a lot. Nico coming in and going through the bowl practices.
Sealed that deal.
He saw that and he was like, "This guy's already ahead of me. It's time for me to move on." And I can't say I blame him, especially at quarterback position.
One plays unless somebody gets hurt. And
so
he saw he was 3rd string this year and was probably going to be 3rd string this coming year.
Right.
And probably, unless injury happened, was never going to get past Nico.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing if you look at it. He saw Nico's talent and realize that I need to go elsewhere.
Exactly.
So, but that's a loss in the portal because it's hurt us. We was worried all spring about how can do we have to take another quarterback in the transfer portal because we only had 2 scholarship guys. But luckily, we're hoping that Gaston Moore, the third string guy, if he has to get in there, can run the offense sufficiently.
Looked good in the spring.
He did.
He looked really good in the spring.
Yeah, for what you tell out spring games, I mean they're just they're notorious for making stars out of guys you never hear from again.
Yeah, there's been several guys over the years that have been like, guys.
Yeah, we got a guy in Biggers right there, and
Kirsten Biggers, superstar,
legend in the spring game.
Never played.
Never played. I mean, it's just,
so it happens.
It happens,
but we'll see. One other spot on offense is the kicker. We brought in Charles Campbell from Indiana, productive kicker for them. So I highly anticipate him to be the starter of their kicker position.
Yeah. He's in a battle for that, but I think he's got the inside leg.
I believe so.
Yeah,
got him by leg.
So after that, I guess we're done on the offense. I think we'd have to say, thus far anyway, that we're winning on the offensive side. We've brought in probably maybe 4 guys that can be starters for us.
Yeah, I think so. I think we definitely won, really at every position. I think at the worst, got tied, but I think it's really we improved our team on the offensive side through the portal.
We did. We got some potential starters, and we lost guys who might have been good down the road, but quite honestly, they're probably better suited for a smaller competition.
Yeah.
Now defensively, we'll start off on defensive line, Bob.
Okay.
We've lost some good defensive linemen.
Yeah. This is a spot where we probably went backwards in, which it was our deepest position.
Yeah, we played a dozen or better last year under Rodney Garner. And but these are guys we probably would have wanted to keep. But we got to start off with Amari McNeil, young guy, good frame. Looks like somebody's going to eat up some snaps for you. He's going to play some. And then Jordan Phillips, which everybody was high on last year when he got down there as a freshman.
Yeah. Didn't
really play during the year, but he was a guy that you really look at and say, man, you're just a freshman. Why do you leave it? So
I know.
Just stick it out. Talent is not an issue with Jordan Phillips.
Especially at Tennessee, where we play probably more defensive linemen than any team in the country.
Yeah, probably will this year even more than we have been.
So that guy, all 3 of the guys we lost would have played. I mean, even Deshaun Terry. All 3.
I really hate losing him.
Yeah, he was going to help us a lot this year.
He played a lot last year.
Was going to help us next year.
Yeah.
Because we do lose a lot of guys on that defensive line.
Yeah, and Terry, if he'd stayed, and there was some talk he might redshirt this year and just stay for next year, which would have been super for us.
Yeah.
But he's has some family issues. I think his mother may be sick.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I
can't blame him.
Oh, yeah.
Go back home, be with her,
be
closer to her. So we wish Mr. Terry all the luck in the world when it comes to his mother and everything.
Oh, yeah. Can't fault him there.
No. We only brought in 1 guy to replace him, to replace those 3, and that's Omar Norman Lott. I don't think he's necessarily a star. At least that was my initial opinion of him.
Yeah.
But he thought he was. I was a little surprised they brought him in because to me he looked like another good ball player.
Right.
Good ball player, but nothing special.
Yeah.
But going back to the spring game, Bob, you brought up that you was watching him quite a bit.
Yeah, I watched him quite a bit. On the plays I watched him, he stuck out. I mean, I just watched the defensive line, and I'd watch a guy flash. So I was like, well, who's that guy? Then I started checking his number. I was like, well, that was Omar Norman Lott. Both plays.
Yeah.
So, that's – you see a guy there flash. I think he's going to be a player for us.
Yeah, I have to reevaluate my opinion on him. He could play quite a bit for us this year.
He'll if he doesn't start, I think he will be in that rotation heavily. You'll see a lot of him this year, I do believe.
Yeah. Going into our linebackers, Bob, last year our linebackers, we had some issues maybe in culture in that room.
We did with Banks and Mitchell. Both.
And Banks has graduated, went on possibly to the NFL, and Mitchell has transferred out as well. And he was productive somewhat for us.
Oh, yeah.
Not a star by any means, but he's productive. And he was a starter, part-time starter for us. And then we brought in the anti-bad news guy.
Pretty much opposite.
Pretty much opposite. Older guy, Keenan Pilley out of BYU, a two-time captain on the team. I mean, that just speaks volumes of this kid's character. That at BYU, he's a two-time captain. And he's coming off a knee surgery 2 years ago. Last year was his first year back. Probably didn't have his speed and his mental side of it down yet, returning from that injury. But I've heard nothing but positive reviews. They've probably actually been pleasantly surprised by how quick he was, because he's large compared to the other guys.
Good-sized guy,
in that room, much larger than what we have.
Yeah, I really thought maybe they was bringing him in more than anything as a role model for our young linebackers. We were loaded a linebacker with young guys,
youth talented.
So he's a family. Peely was a family guy.
Yep.
He's married. Like you said, a two-time captain. I think it was a thing, hey, we've got some bad examples in Mitchell and Banks. Let's bring in a guy who is a family guy who's going to show these guys how to go to work and be good citizens.
Yeah,
and
change the culture in that room.
Yeah.
And I think he's done it, and he surprised them, I believe, by that he can get things done on the field too. It looks like. So
I think he'll play. A lot of people have him locked in as starter, and he probably is. But I love our youth.
Yeah,
I love our youth. They could end up benching him, but
they could. He could get moved past.
But overall, I think we upgraded to that position.
Oh yeah, just in the locker room itself.
Yeah,
there's a big upgrade on that. And that finally brings us to our last position group, and that would be defensive backs, Bob.
Yeah. We had Cam Miller. He transferred out. He was a highly rated guy, 4-star guy. We had battled some decent teams for coming in.
A lot of us they didn't know what his position would be. Is he a defensive back? Is he a wide receiver? And he got here and they put him a defensive back.
Yeah, I think he's one of them guys who, and they come along every now and then, good athlete, but I don't know if they have a position. And I think he may have filled in that. You never heard any noise about him.
The only noise he ever made was at the orange and white game. We had interception, which was funny since, before the orange and white game, the rumors were already out there. He was transferring out, and then he had the biggest play of his short career.
Yeah.
So that happens. But
we added Gabe Giuliani from BYU. He played at Vanderbilt some too. So he's got some SEC experience. I think he's a good one. I don't know if he's a star, but there's a decent chance he's a starter.
Decent chance he's a starter, yes.
If not, he will play.
Yeah, he'll be heavily in that rotation at least.
Yeah.
His PFF grades were phenomenal.
Yeah.
But those PFF grades are notorious too for being head scratchers sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But he's a guy who will be on the field for us, if not as a starter, then heavy in the rotation. So I'd have to call that a win also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think so. I think we won in every spot except for defensive line, even though I like the guy that we got in. And he may be better than any of the guys we lost, but we lost 3 quality guys.
3 quality guys that I wish we could have kept.
Amari McNeil, I think we'll wish we had him back here in a couple of years. He was a solid player. He went to Colorado, and he will be an upgrade there. He'll be a starter for them this year.
Yeah. So all in all, though, I'd have to say that this year, it looks like we'll probably win. We've gotten several starters out of the portal, and we've got a couple more that will be fighting for starting jobs. And the guys we've lost, none of them, I don't believe, would have been pushing for a starting job, with a possible exception of DeJohn Terry. He has started some.
Right.
And I wouldn't put it past him that he could have got into it, but he was not a leader coming out of spring at that position to be a starter.
Yeah.
So
it was our deepest position on our team.
It was. If we're going to lose anywhere, that'd be it.
That would be it. Yeah.
But I definitely give a definite W.
Yeah.
For this coming year and the starters, and that's it for this episode, I believe, Bob.
Sure is. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified for our next videos that comes down. We'll try to put these out here every 2, 3, 4, 5 days and keep them rolling. So look for us.
Look for us and go Vols.
That's right.